are redundant anyway. But there's clear hierarchy, and they respect themselves. Even if it's just you are senior by 2 months or 3 months, there's a clear line of reporting, right? You need to have clean cut, clear of line of reporting. Then there should be job descriptions well defined, extremely well defined. A friend was saying, okay, so we have this WhatsApp group for entrepreneurs, and someone was saying she needed somebody that can do X in our organization. And I laughed. She said, why am I laughing? I said, because three scenarios that I've tried, but one was the one that worked. She said I should share. I said, I used an agency that did that project for us for 2 years. I had an in-house staff that did that same thing for about 2 years, thereabouts. And then I also contracted it to some people that did it as side gigs, like 3 months gigs, 6 month gigs. But the best results was from the in-house staff. And why? Because we had clearly defined JD, the job description, clearly defined KPIs too, key performance indicators, so that you know that you are being measured daily by these yardsticks. And so it makes your job really easy, right? So if this person's job is in customer service, just to receive phone calls, and how do you measure this person? How many rings before you pick up? Are there times when there are missed calls? How many times before you respond to an IG inbox message? Does it take 1 hour, 2 hours, or you respond the next day? Are customers giving you 5-star reviews after you've attended to them? Are they satisfied? Clearly defined job descriptions. They are putting structure to that business. Everybody knows exactly what they are meant to do. There's this saying, this popular thing, rhyme. Is it a rhyme or a saying? I think it's a nursery rhyme. I'm not sure. When I was younger, it goes like this. Somebody thought everybody would do it. Everybody thought anyone could do it. Anyone believed a few people would do it, but at the end of the day, nobody did it, or something like that. Yes, that's what happened. When there's no clear job description, there's no reporting line, there's no SOP. You can see that it starts and it goes up like that. And then the last one is the organizational chart. And so you can see, let people see it. Let your staff know it. Even people that work into the organization, it's clearly written there that see, this is the apex. This is the next in line. This is the, like that, right? It helps to know there's no ambiguity when it comes to how the business is run, right? Okay, so this is an example. I report to the board. So if anybody says anything, I'll say to them, I have organs too, right? So it's out of my hands. So that is how it should be. If your business doesn't have a system, it's chaos. You won't even go. You can see that lady, it's chaos. It's total chaos. And it happened to me a number of times. I'll give you an example. I knew that our business was going haywire. So what I did was I hired an HR specialist. So if your business is not big and it's very big yet, congratulations. You can put structure in place as you go. If you are the only one in your business, congratulations as well. But for us, it costs us some money. At that time, I had 22 staffs. And so one of the things I did was hire an HR expert. She came in, and what she did was complete overhaul of the system. It took them, I think 6 to 8 months. And so the process was, we were missing orders. Everything. The people will say, I ordered. Nobody attended to me. You people are now big, you don't need my money. I'm sure you've heard things like that. It is all mark of systems of businesses that don't have systems. They say they are too big now. It's not that they are too big. They don't have a system in place. It's not that your money is too small. They don't have a business. They don't have a system in place. That's just it. In fact, it was so bad that Forbes invited me for an interview, and I didn't see it. I didn't see it for 5 years. Or was it 4 or 5 years? You can imagine. You are saying what? Because
Sorry, I had to unmute. Like, what did I just hear?
I'm
I,
telling you,
what did I
there were
hear?
so it was not just at that. In fact, I was losing my mind. Our owner burnout is real. You will miss orders. There will be inconsistent experience. Thankfully for us, we didn't have a lot of so because we were having a lot of orders. We outsourced to some companies, even bigger companies, and they messed us. They messed up one of our orders at one point in time. Right? They were not producing for us, but they were producing key ingredients, and it was messed up. And I was burnt out. In fact, I I fainted out of exhaustion twice, and it was only the grace of God that I didn't die. So, a business without system is even a threat to your life. It's not just about the money. It's not just about that you won't grow. It's not just about the opportunities you will miss, but it can be a potential threat to your life. Um, I just didn't have systems in place, and I wanted to do everything. I wanted to be everywhere. And when you started, you mentioned how vulnerable my business was. I wanted my eyes to be everywhere. I wanted to see everything. I beg go, do this right. Oh, it's a baby that will eat it. Oh, I was paranoid, but for good cause because you know I wanted everything to be perfect. But what is a business with system? And my business is with system now, automated order. Even when we are sleeping, customers can order. They don't need us, right? WhatsApp is one of the easiest. Even on the website, you can order on our website, you can order on WhatsApp. There's a catalog there. You look through what you want. There's stories there to explain to you this product is good for this age, blah, 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 because you have automated this. Automation is as simple as that. You can automate to make your life easy. In fact, a lot of businesses are doing that now. Even if you go to a hotel or before you order online, there's a QR code that you scan for the menu. They're even saving money by doing that. I walk into a restaurant, I sit at the table, I just scan the QR code and I'm seeing the menu, the prices, what I want. I can send it directly to the kitchen from where I am, saving money on staff, and so many things. Automate your life. There are so many. The apps that I will mention here, some I use, some I've not used that I came upon during my research. So test and see what automations exist in your industry. You can also have a production schedule. Organize your workflow to prevent chaos. So one of the things we started doing was to follow. I actually studied Lean Six Sigma when I was in the university, but did I practice it? No. And then I started to go back to my notes. And then I remembered Kaizen. I remembered lean production and all of those, methods. And so we first of all reorganized our production flow, very organized. This area is for these color-coded things, and they made life very easy. Everything had a home. You are not looking for anything. Nothing is going missing. There's a reorder system. There's everything. Have a schedule. Train your staff. It's not all the time that it has to be expensive. We do in-house training every Tuesday, and that training is by in-house staff, right? It can be anybody in your staff that is training you on one area, right? And then so that they can do things on their own. They learn more, they know more. And repetition helps with memory, right? The more they practice how to do things, the more they learn about it, the more it's ingrained in them, and you have better results, right? So you definitely you can see that this picture shows people that are in harmony, they're enjoying their lives. Right? So that's how you want your business to be. To create a simple system, to create a system is very simple. You can do simple systems. It doesn't have to be anything cumbersome. What are the things that you do often and often and often again? And there's no perfect system, right? There's no perfect system. Even I was watching a movie yesterday, and somebody in the movie they were like, they gamed the system. There's no system that cannot be gamed. But once it happens, you lock that area and then you tighten it again, right? You keep on tightening the screw keep tightening the screw so that there's very little that passes in between, right? So what do you do often for our business? One of the things that we do often is packing orders. We're always packing orders every day. So how do you pack orders that there's no mistake? Do mistakes still happen? Yes. But once you spot that mistake, put another process in place that this thing should not happen again, right? So you pick phone calls every day. That's one thing that is even common to all businesses. So when you pick the phone, what do you want to say? That's a process. That's number one in your process. Pick up the phone on the second ring or pick up the phone on the fourth string, whatever it is. And then you say, good morning, welcome to Baby Gloves. My name is Cheryl. How may I assist you today? And when I say, how may I assist you? Some people, they didn't like it. We change to, how may I serve you today? And we still have funny comments on that. But there's a system in place that this is how you pick up the phone. And if the customer says, we have in our script, the customer may say A, B, C, D. If the customer says, oh, I want to order, you ask them, do you have a product or a meal you want to buy in mind, or do you want us to recommend? Right? So it's like a flow chart. If A, go to B, go to C. You have it very easy. So you don't even need me to be there. If you resume today at Baby Boss, I will give you that flow chart and you pick up the phone. You are looking at the flow chart while talking to a customer. That customer will think that they spoke with me. Right? Because for every point in that flow chart, it tells you exactly what to say or where to direct the person to or what to tell the person. If your baby is 6 months, we say, whoa, congratulations, because they are just starting out to eat. If your child is 8 months, there's something we'll say. If your child is 9 months, we know the peculiarities of all the different months of the children, of the ages. And so we offer it to you, and then you instantly be like, I'm in a safe place. These people understand what I'm going through at this point in time, right? Because it matters to us. Customer service is the third in our, is it third? Yes, it's the third on our core value list. Number one is quality. Number two is excellence. Number three is customer service. And so if you do what we receive calls day in, day out, so we already have a process for phone calls. The one that you do the most, or the one that you know that the one that is giving you issues the most, or that can help you convert the most, start with that one. Document step by step. What do we do? When a customer brings a cloth to us, the material, oh, do you say, welcome, oh, the material, where do you store it? Do you tag the material so that you will not go and give Auntie Bola's material to Auntie Kike, right? You don't want, whatever it is that you know that you need to do, you tag that material. Where do you put the material? Do you put it in a bag? Do you measure the person immediately, or do they need to make a deposit first? Do you ask them the time that they will need the fabric or the outfit? There must be step by step of when a customer comes with a cloth to your tailoring shop. So have it, whether you're in shop or not. If you're not around, whoever comes, they will tell the person to sit down. Maybe they will on fan, they'll give them fan. Maybe if they come from the sun. It's little things, but it has to be consistent, right? You document it step by step. Once a customer walks in, offer them water, give them hand fan, and so it means that the fan has to be charged. Then take their measurements. If you need to buy them malt, you buy them, whatever it is, right? And if they give you a date that they need the fabric, because we are a tailoring shop that does not disappoint, I'm here to see one. Because that's your own watchword. You will now go to our, maybe like a schedule, the way lawyers have their book. You now write it on that date. If you have the maximum for that date, you will immediately tell that auntie, according to the way we do in our shop, we only take 5 per this date, or maybe 10 clients by these dates. Unfortunately, we have exhausted that quota for that day. Should we move you to date X before or date Y after, right? So those are simple things that you can do. And you can automate the process. If the customer comes, nothing stops you from, I went to a new hospital yesterday and I absolutely loved it. It was automated. from when I walked in. Before I walked in, I called them, I was coming in. And when I came in, they were like, "You are Lagbaja?" I said, "Yes, please take your seat. What do I need to do?" "Don't worry, I'll be with you." And the person picked up the phone and called the person I needed to see and told them this person is coming up. Have I do XYZ. I got there as they, "Oh, please sit down, be comfortable." Somebody came, attended to me. One was taking my vitals. One was telling me, "When you're done, we need you to come into this room." And I was like, "Have you called my HMO?" They were like, "No, don't worry. We have it covered." Meanwhile, in my office, my hospital, before, if I needed to do X, I would first of all climb 2 floors to the HMO to get approval, climb 2 floors down, present it, climb 2 floors again for another approval, climb 2 steps down. But this one, I didn't need to do anything. I didn't even hear them do it or see them do it. "Oh, we have notified them. Don't worry, we're attending to it." I'm like, "No, you don't understand. Let me go to the HMO office to make sure that they do it." They're like, "No, and the process, and then they were going about with a tablet to know when, "Oh, there are 2 people that are before you. Please exercise patience. There's just one person before you," and different stages, in the hospital, different, because they automate it and they gave them tools to work and it is delegated to everyone. So automate, assign responsibility, give them the tools. So on that chart, everybody in the hospital had that tablet. They could see how many people in the waiting room for scan, how many people waiting room in the diagnostic center, in the blood work area, in the specialist area, in the doctor's area, in the pediatrician. They know, right? When they got to the limit, they were like, "Oh, you are so lucky to come in. You are the 10th person. We only see 10 people for this thing every day." Maybe it's not 10, but they wanted you to feel, I don't know, I'm just saying. But it was automated and they assigned. They measure and improve. So afterwards, "Are you happy with us?" They sent me a survey. "How satisfied are you with our services?" "Very satisfied," "Not," "Indifferent." You measure. So if you see somebody that is unsatisfied, immediately another message will be triggered. How can we improve? Or they call you, "Oh, we are sorry about this and that," which is why for us to feedback is crucial. That's how you create your simple systems. And there are so many things that can help you, right? Simple things like a QR code will help you with your system. You can do things, you can brand things on Canva. You can do, even with Excel, you can do your business books. I've talked about WhatsApp business, Trello to assign tasks to people per time, right? And your action plan, start small. You don't have to do too much, like I said. Pick a core area of your business. In that core area of your business, maybe it's customer service or sales or hiring, whatever core area. For tailors, I'll believe is hiring because of the high turnover of tailors. Or it will be around how you receive clothes, or where if you tell customer, "Hey, your clothes is coming on the 10th," whatever it is that is a critical area of your business. Pick that one system. Begin to document manually, just write it down. And number 1, receive call. If you have written to number 5 and now see that, "Oh, I skipped this one," put space there, write it in front of it. Just do it manually first. Do it and then begin to assign roles. Okay, so now I want Labake to be picking calls. Now it is Tofumi that will be doing this one. You are assigning roles and you are now implementing it. Then you review, how are they doing? Are they doing it well? It's as simple. That's how you build structure. Very practical, very simple. And keep it going like that. Okay, so I was talking about a simple sales system here. There's one on the left and there's one on the right. On the left, if it was Instagram ads, you run Instagram ads, you run Facebook ads, there's a lead there where you say, most times we click here to buy now or something, and they click there, they come into your inbox immediately. There's an auto response message that says, "Welcome to Baby Gloves. This is the catalog. Stop here now. These are our best sellers," whatever it is. But if they don't buy, if they come on the website, they look at it, they don't buy. We see it there. We can send a mail to you immediately. Like, but we saw that you came here, but you didn't buy. What happened? Not exactly like that, but you get the idea. Um, or you shop, and I do a lot of nonsense shopping like that. I can go on Temu. I've never bought anything on Temu, but I can shop. My cart is overflowing. I'm always adding and removing from my cart, right? But if it was with me, and they do that too, I think I disabled it. We'll be sending you emails that, oh, we saw that you put this in your cart, but you've not bought it. Would you like a discount? Would you like, sometimes we call, sometimes we send text messages. So don't go to any browser website and go and do it, because we will be on your case, right? And it's automated. It's not like we are stressing ourselves to do it. You to just say, do you want to send this customer invoice? Send. Do you want to send this customer WhatsApp message? Send. Do you want to send this customer SMS? Send. Do you want to send this customer email? Because we have a CRM. The CRM is the one that is pursuing you, not us. But we have put the automation there that once this person comes, do like this, like that, right? So that's a simple sales system for us, right? So that we can close that sale. And we also have it automated where you can give us feedback. And it's a long, this is another, on your right, you have a marketing funnel. That is a bigger type of system for your business. But there's so many more. You can just go online to look at different examples. I've talked about automation too. Okay, yeah, Google Forms can help. MailChimp, Calendly, there are even local ones. I've used Equid. It was a lot of big bucks that we paid. There's also Bumper. There's also Keeper. So many of them like that, right? Ask around. I'm sure you'll find something that helps. And then, of course, I don't need to say too much on this. Your structured business will support your business growth and to support your business expansion, right? So as I'm here now, I might be sleeping, people are ordering, even though they are buying my product in the UK. And they will think that we are the ones attending to them. Well, we are attending to them in Nigeria, but they might think that it's in the UK. Why? Because we have automated it. You go to our UK website, you buy in the UK website, everything, we do everything at the back end here, right? We have an automation, we have an automated system where once you take your order, once you pay, it sends it to our fulfillment partner. The fulfillment partner receives the order as a ticket. They see the person's name. They see that the person has paid. They see what the person has ordered. They just pack it together, ship it, right? There are so many things. It just needs you to put it in place. So when you have a structure in place or a system in place, you have data. You have data that can help you with decision making, clear data. In fact, we work on data. It might be slow, but we work with data. What are people saying? What are they leaning towards? What do they like? You can delegate. It frees up my time. You can document everything. It's easy. And you know exactly what will go on with your business at any point in time. Your business doesn't, a funny thing is, there's a last thing I put here, predictability. It makes you attractive to investors. Your business might not even be making profits, but if you know exactly what you're doing part-time and you have structure in place, you'll be able to know exactly why you're not making profits, or you will know why you're making losses. The fact that you know why and you can explain it, half of your problem is solved. It makes people know that you know what you're doing, right? So it doesn't have to be all roses, right? And I've talked about this tools already. Okay, so I've talked about how to use WhatsApp Business for your automation, and I think a lot of people already use it. Because if you send a broadcast message now, you say welcome to Kiniko Chinchin, welcome to Lagbaja Tailoring, because everybody knows that you can configure quick replies, messages when you're not there, so you are engaging them even when you're not there, right? And yeah, I've talked about the action plan that you need to do. And my final thought would be that you want to work on your business, not inside your business. Remember, talking about my friend that, she's away. She's working in her business, but not inside the business. She's working on it, right? She's seeing it. And the way there's this beautiful analogy I like. I use it for my staff. I keep telling them, I say, I'm the pilot of this plane, right? And I have to keep us flying. And we have to keep going at high altitude. Imagine if I have to leave the cockpit and I want to come and see, have you served the people in business class? Did they have enough water to drink? Or I will go to the bar and say, you didn't wash the toilet well after this person used the toilet. You didn't lock the door of this plane. There's breeze coming in somewhere. That plane is guaranteed to crash, right? And that's the analogy I use. And that's how you should think about it. You are seeing we need to go this way. This place is cloudy. We need to avoid that cloud. There will be turbulence if I go at this altitude. Maybe I should drop down. That is you working on your business, not inside it. You are not inside the plane. You are having the bird's eye view, the pilot view of the business. And that's what you want. So you need that freedom. You are not lazy. That is what you're supposed to do, right? Sometimes people think that, oh, I'm not doing this, because that's not your job. You know, you pay those people to do it. You are the brain behind the business, and that is how it should be. And then you will grow. Even you with confidence, you know that the head of the hostesses, they are capable. They will do exceedingly exactly how they should do. I was about to quote a scripture, sister, right? And then you have a strong foundation, right? Then you can hand over to a co-pilot, or you hire another pilot to fly that plane. That's another one, and grow like that, right? And then you have a fleet. Now, we don't even know if the owner of Airpeace knows how to fly a plane. He doesn't even have to know how to. But is he running a successful aviation company? Yes, he is. And that's what you want, right? He's not there micromanaging the people at the ticketing counter. He's not there checking if the baggage allowance is over or below, things like that, right? He's not now, he has expanded beyond Lagos, Abuja. He has expanded beyond Nigeria to Ghana. They are now doing flights Nigeria to London, Europe. They have European flights now. So the business is growing because he is working on the business, not in it. And I pray that all our businesses grow that big. Thank you for joining me today. God bless you.
Thank you so much. I'm trying to get my emojis because they're like I know how to use them so well, and you've shared so many germs during the course of this session. And I'm just like I've been writing because I've been writing, and so many things you said stood out to me. I think one thing that you said that was really remarkable is that the sight, the vision that you have for your business informs the structure. When you were saying things like, oh, your friend that was serving high profile client, there are certain things that cannot be part of the structure. For me, like it's not like you cannot just pick up anything and put it together. No, you need to know what vision you see, and then you can walk back to the structures that you need to get there. So I think that was like really like remarkable, and the examples that you gave. I think another thing that you said that was really remarkable for me is you need to work on your business, not inside, because you are doing those tiny, tiny jobs, and before you know it, you even forget what is the overarching vision for the business. So that's remarkable. I was taking a lot of the feedback too, the importance of feedback. I mean, yesterday I was having a conversation with someone, and I was saying that one of Amazon's core value is customer obsession, and they are just obsessed with you. I think Temu learned from Amazon because I kind of feel like those people are pursuing spirits. Because I've had said one day I woke up, I'm like, why am I still getting email? I'm not like I only ordered once from them, and they have been, consistently sending me messages, sending me discounts. And I think they learned from Amazon and being obsessed with your customers and saying, okay, yeah, what kind of customers are we expecting? I think that's remarkable. I'm just trying to give some, things that stood out for me before we go into the session for the session for questions. And even the fact that you said that not having a structured business is like deciding to kill yourself. I'm paraphrasing you, but you say it's a threat to your life when you don't have, because when you were saying things like you fainted, Jesus, like I can't imagine that. Like, it's like you're trying to commit suicide if you don't create structures to your business. So that's amazing. Thank you so much for the insights that you shared. Now I'm going to be moving to the question session. And just for a base, I looked at some of the questions that were asked by the people who registered for the event. And also, so I'm going to be like bringing it back to them. And then a couple more things that are not around operation, but more of like your experience and entrepreneur, because we have the honor and privilege of having you in the room. So we can as well just take all the wisdom that we need because we don't know when next we are going to see you. So I don't know if it's okay if I go ahead. Okay, perfect. So I
Yes,
think
it's right.
okay. So the number one question is for an entrepreneur who is a solo entrepreneur. The person just started. They don't have staff. They don't need organizational structure. They are just the only one in their business, and they're like, okay, I want to start. You might have, said something around this, but just to portray the point since it was asked, I want to start from somewhere to automate my business. Where would be the first areas that you think the person should consider and focus on to yield the most output?
I love that question, and thank you for that beautiful summary. Um, I started my business from just me in my kitchen to over 25 stars. And
Wow.
so there was something I was working alone. And working alone should not scare anybody. But so one of the first things I did was I realized that people were asking me the same questions every single day. So the
Hmm.
first thing I did was create a frequently asked question list with answers. So when people come and they have questions, good morning, good day, I would like to know more about your product. I just put that frequently, babygross.com/facts, FAQs, and I send it to them. So if you go through the frequently asked questions, it would have explained everything you need to understand. That's one simple thing you can do. And you can have a simple ebook that explains basics. It wasn't even free. I sold it. So
Oh.
if you want to know the basics around XYZ, oh, this book tells you everything that you need to know. And the chapters is outlined, and you say, oh, yeah, I think I need it. So instead of me talk, buy the book, I was generating revenue. So those are small things you can do if it's just you. Another thing that you can do if it's just you is the WhatsApp automation that we mentioned. You can automate your WhatsApp. And you can also have organogram. You don't have to fill it yet, right? It can be a 3 month. If your goal is to have 3 staffs or two, what will they be doing? Me, I'll be here. The person under me, what would that person be doing? Write it out. So that when you see that person, easy to identify, to recognize the person.
Hmm.
Or it can even be a 5-man organogram. It's I like making things visual. Right. My goals for the year are on my screen on my phone. So I know what I'm doing part time. So if it's to hire a staff or people that you need, put the organogram, put it there. I need a driver that will be delivering my cakes, that it won't mess up. I need somebody that whatever it is, put it in that organogram and put it up. Um, but those are simple things that you can do. Your frequently asked questions list, automate your WhatsApp. Um, you can even do a series on your it might not even be a series. It can be what it's called. You will see that some people have it on their Instagram, how to order or what they need to know about you. They'll pin it at the top of the page, and it's a carousel so that when they come to your handle, they can easily understand what everything that you need them to know.
Hmm.
For those that will not go and read frequent, yeah, those are things that you can easily do.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. When you were saying things about frequently asked question, I just got a memory of something funny that is personal that I saw on Instagram when someone said that she's tired of doing talking stages, so she's going to compile her frequently asked question for her personal life. So when you come So, guys, you don't need to stop at automating businesses. You need to start automating some of these things. That was on a lighter note, but yes, that was very spot on. Thank you very much for that. I think the next thing I want to go into is delegation and hiring, because it seems like it's at the crux of not building a business that is around you, because you need people. There's an entrepreneur that I really admire. Her name is Mrs. Ibuku Awoshika. And every time I listen to her, she would say, people are your biggest assets, and the way she stresses it, it's become part of my, mentality and all that. So hiring and, delegation and trust. And, if you're a small business owner and you are obsessed with it has to be done with me, how do you walk to the part of being free enough to start giving things over and trusting people? Because I think your business is even more interesting. Like I said earlier, the area that you're working is very, it's very easy to get into trouble, if you understand what I mean. Like if you mix what you're not supposed to mix, is a serious thing. Do you get? So how did you struggle with delegation? Did you struggle with trust? Did you have problem hiring? How did you walk back from there? What are the remarkable insights from your journey that you've learned about a solo entrepreneur who is trying to hire or who's trying to outsource, peculiar things around that, if you don't mind?
Very interesting question. Intelligence question. So I was sad. Of course, I was scared. I don't want to go to jail. I'm too fine for jail. So, some of the things that you do is you put processes in place. I'll give you an example. So, okay, this was a conversation I had before I joined the call. A friend called and said our most trusted driver, has been scheming on, petrol, the usual thing. And she was like, I don't even know. Should I confront him? Should I fire him? Should I take him and then jump where? Okay, so if you confront him, what answer do you want? What response are you looking for? That he will beg you, or that he will deny? He might beg you, he might deny it. Anything, think about the outcome first, right? I'm like, look, it can be any other person, and it can be any other help, or it can be any other staff. What you need to do is tighten the process. Do you have a process in place? That was the first question I asked. Because anybody can steal. It's to the degree that they can steal that you curtail, because you put processes in place. Another of my friends, she was opening a new branch, and she told me, she has been talking about this staff, praising this staff to IS7. This staff will head this branch. She has not even told the staff. She will head this branch. She's so good. She's the best. Me that I've seen all shades of staffs. She called me and said, this staff's bag fell. This was on Tuesday. This staff's bag fell down, and gizzard spilled out of the bag. Packs of gizzard. She didn't zip the bag, but she has packed it and I just started laughing. She was like, how will I do? How will I? I said, this one, you even have to fire. There's no, but this is my best staff, because she trusts that staff. She has relied fully on them, and she can go to sleep. She has time for herself now. I'm like, you still have time for yourself, but you must fire this staff. What you need to do is to have processes in place. It's not about trust. It is about, you don't trust yourself. You don't trust the people. Trust the system that you have put in place. You trust the system. Can the system be gamed? Yes. But once that system is gamed, tighten it again. If they game it again, tighten. Even you. So you look at it, if I want to steal from this, how will I steal? So I can do like this, tighten it. I can go this way, tighten it. That is it. So, like, remember, I put that foundation. I say number one is the SOP. That's the foundation. What is the standard? How do we do things? So before you can they steal from the supplier angle? Yes, they can steal. So once it comes in, how do you ensure that they are not stealing what is supplied, or you tighten that screw? So we are tightening it not just because once it comes in, you measure, and you measure at random. You can have 30 bags or 50 bags. Just pick anyone at random. Weigh like 3 or 5. Are they all consistent? Because you cannot weigh everything at the same time. Right? Okay, fine. If you can weigh it at the same time, fine. But that's our own method. We do random, very random. So if there's anyone that is less or, and when it comes, even with quality too, we have a standard we subject even the supplier to very strict standards. So it's all about your standard. So if garbage does not come in, it will be hard for garbage to go out. And even inside the business too, it's not everybody that can enter the raw material to go and carry raw material. And even when they bring it out, there's somebody taking notes of what is inside, what came in. There's another person that is taking notes. It's an entirely different person of what is inside. And there's another person that is taking note of this is what they gave me, this is what came out. What happened? There's margin of loss, there's margin of error, but that 5%, it cannot exceed it. If it exceeds it, there's something fishy is going on. So you just trust the system. That's all. We need to have a system in place and trust it. That is why the president of the US is not in Nigeria checking the people they are giving visa to. Because there's a process of the people that you can give to and the people you cannot give to. And you trust them, they have been trained, they have been given the guidelines, they have been given the standards. That is it. You want to live long, just put systems in place and trust your system.
Remarkable, remarkable. I think I got a word or marble for Mrs. Shung's Songole year 2025. If garbage did not go in, garbage cannot come out. That is like something I need to go and put somewhere, because that's remarkable insight. And I think I love the fact that you spoke to employee theft, because it's the next conversation that I wanted to bring. Like, it's very rampant these days, even on Instagram. The other day, I saw a big businesswoman who said one of her staff ran away with, is it like 10 million naira worth of something? Yeah, like it's rampant. And on LinkedIn, I was reading about like a professional who has a very structured business, who also discovered that his driver was, taking petrol, and it was a serious thing in volumes. So employee theft, and you've spoken to it. And the issue is, what if like you're a small business, the excuse that they used to have is, I don't have the technology to be able to track my business. For example, let me give you a clear example. My sister runs like a clothing outfit where she sells clothes, wholesales, right? And the other day she called me. She said, "Oh, I hired somebody, but I think I have a very big problem, because originally it's just impossible for me to know how many clothes I have in the store. Like, she has a lot of clothes in her like warehouse and in the store." So she was like, "What are we going to do?" Because normally here you have people who use barcode to scan every product, maybe in supermarket. She doesn't have that luxury. She was just like, "Okay, so how am I going to start, even because even me, I don't know the number of goods in the store. How would that person start?" And if you can share more insight on employee theft, then we just move to a totally different sector.
There's technology. There's something that you use sense to do. I will talk about 3 examples of sense that doesn't have anything to do with technology. Now, when my staffs come in, we have a reception before you go in. At that reception, everybody drops their bags. Everybody drops everything that is external that it came with. It does not go into the factory. So you are going into the factory with your clothes or whatever you have on top of you. Even your food is there. Everything you came home from is in that. So anything you want to steal, it should be something that can enter your pocket now, right? So even if you are stealing fish, there's a maximum number of fish you can steal. It will even be harder. I'm just talking about that type of check and balance before you even enter, right? Because your bag will not follow you there, or a nylon, nothing will follow you there. So if anything has to follow you out, you won't be the one that everybody will see it now that somebody is carrying something, because there's closing time for different levels of staff, right? That's another check, right? Those people that work with food, they are the ones that close first, that work directly in products. So you are working as everybody's seeing you, and it's a long distance from office to, do you understand? Those are simple things, right? That it's visible. There are still other things that we do inside or internally that prevents things like that. Talking about petrol, there's a card. The manager of the petrol station will sign it that this is what they can collabo. Not that they can't collabo, but I'm just saying that if my driver goes or my rider goes there to buy fuel, they would, once they buy the fuel, we pay. If they don't pay, we pay, but they will The manager will sign that, or whoever they have assigned will sign that it was this number of fuel that was pumped into this vehicle or into this bike. And they signed there with the dates. And so we also having that arrangement with that petrol station gives, for me, it was to track theft, but also another like a loyalty thing for the filling station. So I see the number of fuel that we buy, the number of diesel that we buy, and so they give us discounts or rebates at the end of the day. So if there's scarcity, we are never bothered. Or if there's anything or something wants to be explained, it does not affect us. We have the number of sessions that we do that we have that arrangement with. Right. That's what I currently do. They might still have you give me 5,000 on top, we will share it. It's still possible, but at least I've done that. And occasionally I go there to break bread with the managers and people so that they you are my eyes, oh, don't jail, me, things like that. And then I also have another one, especially for employees. Everybody you have a file in the police station. The DPO of my police station beside you is a walking distance. Yes. There are simple things. Me, I don't even have goats in my factory. It's crayfish, right? But that my crayfish, I cherish it. I cherish it, or maybe rice, bags of rice, right? Every employee has a strict records. I didn't just wake up and think of, oh, this is how. I hired an expert. I hired an HR consultant. They interviewed them, drilled everybody. Everybody has to have, it's like this Yoruba proverb that says, your needle must have a thread inside it. So you must be traceable. The people that stand for it, not anybody else. Your landlords must verify that you pay your rent regularly. What's it called? If you are Muslim or Christian, your imam or your pastor must be your guarantor. We don't want you to bring any guarantor. Is your landlord or and for those who, some of my staff live in their own houses, so is your pastor that must stand for you. If you are the owner of your house, bring your house bill so that we see that you are the right. So we have that. And then when we build your employee file, a copy of it is already in the police station. They all know. DPO is my friend. It's a simple matter. I didn't even bribe DPO or anything. It is part of their work. They do background check. Or even when they don't do background check, the fact that they know that they have file in the police station, they're already scared. I remember one driver, we suspected he was a cultist. He said he wants to collect his file. He came to file that he wants to collect your file again. Go to the station and go and collect it again. Right? So even that puts the fear of God in their heart. There was one that went away without signing, without dropping his the copy things that were within, like his laptop and stuff. We just called the pastor. I'm gonna tell sign for not just see this. The next day, right? So those are the things that we do, that I do, right? So those are simple. You don't need to. Sometimes technology is too far. There are simple things that you can put to drive the fear of God in people's heart. Right? When they know that they can't even go in with their bags, that alone. Even if they want to steal, they have to be creative because you have already put checks and balances for them to not steal.
Wow. The file in the police station, I have to say, that's the heights that I've ever heard.
Tell me anything. I just go and say, the first time I went, I just said I want to do courtesy visit. I own a factory here. And the man was very happy. Even this current DPO is my party, his number is here. If he sees me on the road, that's that you this girl. And I just say, I'm a small girl, help my career. I would let nobody steal from me. These are my stars. Don't worry, we'll take care of them. How are you? Do you need anything? If I hear him in the community, I call them. You say, no problem. Right? They still work. You don't need, just respect them and their office. That's all. I've never dropped a dime, whenever I go there. I just go on courtesy visits. If I have some of my products, I take it along and just give them. The ones that have babies, the female police women, I give them my baby food. That's all.
Wow.
They love it. Yeah.
What I hear you say is that beyond the whole structured formal learning, you also have to be street smart and understand the ecosystem that you work in to also use it to serve you and protect you. That's very insightful. I think my next question is around finance, right? Many people who start small businesses in a place like Nigeria, when they start, sustenance is part of the reasons why they start. Not many people have the luxury to start a business just like maybe just because, oh, I am passionate. They also want to send their children to school. They want to do personal stuff. And sometimes at that when they're starting out, the problem is I keep mixing my business money with my personal money. And even when I have some people will say, oh, separate bank account. Well, I have separate bank account. I'm still taking it to solve my problem. What do you have to say to this problem?
Okay, so two questions that I hear, or maybe I'll repeat it back to you to be sure that I hear. How do they raise money for their business, and how do they not touch business money? Is that it?
Yeah, there are two. Yes. The first one is, raising money for the business. The second one is when you're building a business and your business is also the source of your sustenance. How do you practical ways where you can say, is it possible? The first question in all honesty is it possible? And what are the practical ways that you can make it happen?
Yes, it's possible to separate your business money and your personal money. Very, and you must. Uh, well, the business money is still your money. So at the end of the day, you are the alpha and the omega of the business. So it's still yours. But I understand that the business has to be an entity, and you also have to be an entity. And at the beginning, it can be blurry, which is what I would say is whether it's your business money or your money, let it be documented, then it helps. So if you know that you made a profit of X amount of naira, the one you took for yourself is 70 minus X. It's documented. So you know, I chopped this one, but this is the amount I chopped, so that it helps you to calculate. But how do you raise money in the initial stages? I like this because I love these questions because I actually started from the very bottom with zero naira, zero kobo, and you can raise money from your customers. My capital came from my customers. I just wrote the foods I have and the type, and the amount, and I put it online. But of course, I've been talking about baby food and all of that, and so I had a following. And so when I advertised the product, it was easy for people to buy it from me. And I took their money. I told them the product will be ready in X days. I think 10 days or so. I can't remember now. And I took that money. I went to Ladipo to buy my food processor. I went to the market to buy the raw material. My capital came from my customers. So you can have that. And for the longest time, for years, and by years, for about 6, 7 years, my capital was from my distributors. They know that when they buy the product, it will sell out. So I'll tell them, give me money, I'll produce for you. There is answer, right? So you can raise money from, if you have a fantastic product or a fantastic service, and you are a person of integrity, you can raise money from other people. Number two, you can look at other streams of your business. So if you know how to bake cake very well, you can teach people how to bake. So let it be a service that you're teaching people how to bake. So you're not just a baker, you raise money, training them to bake it, the service. Another thing that you can do is, so I'm running through my own business. So for my business, I also sell books. I've told you that that was one of the ways I raised money. So if you want to learn how to do different parts of the business, things that people ask me questions about mostly, I have books on it, especially for 6-month-olds. We don't know what to feed our children in our 6 months. There's a book for that. We don't know XYZ. There are free books too, but there are also paid books. So you can write a book on if it's just chin chin, types of chin chin, caramel chin chin, coconut chin chin made from corn, whatever, pink chin chin. Make a book and sell it. Another thing that you can do is I also do specialized trainings. So I have what you can call challenge. You can call it, it's not It's not training on everything that you do as a baker. You can say holiday baking, bake the perfect Christmas cake in 5 days. And people, because it's Christmas and there's frenzy, everybody signs up for that class. It's just 5 days. You take them through the process and you make your money. You can say 15 days, slimmer you or whatever. So those are other ways you can raise money periodically. In fact, when I was growing my business, anytime I need money, I'll just, how much money do I need? I need 10 million naira. How many? Okay, let me divide it into three things. How many trainings do I need to sell? How many books do I need to sell? And then I raise that money, right? So those are ways that look at other streams of income in your business that you can use. They're even speaking. I make money by speaking right now, right? So the first big money that I think was what year was I think it was year 2000. And when I saw the VIP treatment, I said, hey, so these are people that speak enjoy. You know, they brought car, picked me up, gave me this, and still gave me money. And I was talking about things I enjoy, and people loved it, and they were blessed. I'm like, so it's like this, and they started paying me. Oh, so I can be paid as a speaker, speaking about the things that I do or the things that I love. And you know, so other areas of the business can raise money for you. For me, that is still my biggest money making thing. If I need to raise capital, yes. You can also raise capital from friends and family. But you have to be a person of integrity. And then number two is you can do soft loans. They might be high interest, but for type of my business, if I get a signed contract and they say we'll pay you back in 30 days, I'll borrow money, produce it, supply, they pay me back immediately. I take my profits, I pay back. So those are other things that you can do to raise money. And how to separate is clear and simple. Whatever you take in the growing, it shouldn't be a habit, right? But I won't say you can't take in the small, in the growth. For me, it's still my major source of income. Baby girls is my business. I also have my own personal side gig, but you know, everything is an offshoot of baby girls. But I have at least 7 streams of income for my business. So it is something that you should look at. By the time you grow, separate it. I have my savings account. Even if we have to remove money from the business account, it's in the narration. So accountant will not flog me. It is there what the money was taken out for. And it goes back exactly, you know, what was taken and so
Thank you very much. That was very remarkable. And thank you so much for the insight that you shared. I think now the question I would ask is like a more personal question because I believe that some of the biggest learning opportunities that we have is failures. So I'm just curious, what's the biggest operational failure that you've ever walked your business through? Like and what wisdom came out of that? Like, have you ever had like a crisis in your business due to operations, and what wisdom came out from that?
declare that it's not constant, but there's no time. There's there's almost no point in time. Maybe not on the operations now. No, not now. But I was going to say that I'm always fighting fires, but maybe not operational. But there's not the bigger you get, the bigger your problem. And I'm not even there yet. So in my head, I'm like, God, I beg. And another thing you need to know is there will always be operational failures. This one might be the biggest. It's not big, but looking back, it was big then. I cried myself to sleep. And it was in the days when my business was still in my house. But at that time, I had a 3-bedroom flat. Most people didn't know I lived in that flat because I demarcated it very beautifully. You come into the reception, the waiting area, you sit down, we attend to you. But my family was living there, right? There was a section for my family, my staff to come in. But there was this day that we needed to produce something, and so I measured what we needed to do. I was going to soak the grain, and at that time, that accommodation we had issues with water, and so we store water in kegs, and we also store petrol in kegs. And so that day, you can already tell what happened. And so I'd measured everything, was a big batch that I wanted to produce. And then I opened it and I was tired, I was fagged out. But I needed to do it so that when my staff's coming in the morning, it would be easier, the job would be done faster. And then I realized I had poured petrol in all of. I was so tired, I didn't even smell the petrol until it was too late. And then I started crying because petrol, gone. Grains, gone. I didn't even eat. I cried. No, I didn't cry. I wailed. It was wailing. It was wailing. Because we're now behind production schedule. We had lost petrol. We have lost raw materials. But that day, I think that was when my processing, my business structure and system started. When they came in that day, I said, everybody label everything. Clearly labeled. We went to buy markers and started labeling kegs. And so we decided kegs, different color for kegs for petrol, different colors for kegs for water. This is where we store this. This is where we store this. Anything that has to do with XYZ, consumables do not enter this area. That was when structure started for me. That was my biggest operational failure. And thank God it was when we were still small. Laughing back now because petrol was 89 naira. It's times 10 now, right? So yeah, that was the biggest for me.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. I can imagine. And when you said I wailed, I know the difference. I think adulthood tells you the difference between crying and wailing. When you wail, your being just knows that you are wailing. Like it's beyond it. Sometimes you don't even fight tears to wail. You just scream from your being, your soul. So I can imagine how that would have been for you. Thank you for sharing that. Another question, like I said, we are trying to, we are like we had the opportunity to have like a remarkable woman with us, so we want to take out all the wisdom that we can. So don't blame us. So my next question is, you've built a business in Nigeria, and I feel like if anybody survives building a business in Nigeria, you are a superhero because you've probably fought like the forces that even people in normal climes, sorry to use the word normal, have not had to deal with. You've had to. So now looking back, if you were going to start your business over again, this might not be an operational question. What would you do differently? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. What was the last thing you heard? Because I
I
figured my network
that,
tripped.
I heard you say, I heard everything. What I'll
Okay.
do differently, maybe not in operations, I think that some of the things that I did first, I loved some of the things I did in the first few years of my business. I think that catapulted my business. I'll do them again. But what are the things that I would do more of? I think that I would get mentors earlier, right? I would have
Mentorship.
mentors. Yeah, I would have mentors earlier. I would pay for coaching earlier.
Hmm.
Yeah, I would do that as well because um, they give you that advantage of pulling you up faster. And I would take more financial risk.
Hmm.
Those are things that I would do more. And I'll be more confident.
Hmm.
Yeah. So work on myself more. And yeah. And then take my personal development as critical as I take business development. Yeah.
Wow, that's really insightful because in today's world, people will just be like, some people still look down on things like coaching and mentorship. They're like, what are they saying and all that? And to see you think of it as the value that you would have had to give you an advantage is remarkable. Thank you. So we are nearing the end. And one question I want to ask is, when we talk about structure, one concern businesses have, if especially as they grow bigger, is that having structure rids you of the flexibility that allows you innovate. even in like in business school and something, I remember we having a case, and our professor would be like, one of the reasons why big companies get disrupted is that they get too structured to be able to try things that lets them evolve, and at the end of the day, startups and smaller companies disrupt them, because less structure can give you, flexibility to do certain things. In your experience, how do you balance structure and flexibility that allows innovation? You how, for example, I don't know how this might apply to your industry, because I'm more tech oriented. But for example, maybe that some of your staff could be able to come up with new meal plans, or maybe innovative feeding styles or something. But the current structure you have doesn't might not be able to give room for that innovation to happen, even though it's very critical, even though it's very important. So how do businesses balance, having structures and having flexibility that allows innovation?
So it is, what's the right word? There is no one way to answer this. It's a problem and it can be a solution too. You just have to, and that's where hiring the right people comes into play. I'll give you an example of flexibility. So my staff have a card where they spend money from when I'm not around, but they have a threshold of the maximum they can spend before they ask for my, what's the word?
Approval.
Approval, yeah, to go beyond that limit. There are times when they would go beyond that limit for due reason, right? And when they take those decisions, they were not taken lightly, and they will not be penalized, right? And it's not often. So that's a margin of flexibility in that. There are times when employees can be funny if you make a rule and say nobody does X, Y, Z. But they know that if that rule is broken, it will help the business. So something happens, I'll be like, why didn't you do that? But our rule says, don't do this. And we were obeying it. Yeah, so at the end of the day, you want, for me, one of the biggest things I look at when I'm employing people are people that are teachable and people that take initiative. It's important too that you have skills, which is why I say we have skilled, semi-skilled, and highly skilled, or unskilled rather. So even in that process, you still look out for people that are teachable and people that have initiative. Is very, very important. And so when things like that happen, you just have to trust that they will use their best instinct. But more often than not, it has favored the business than the other way around. But as the other things happen, yes, plenty. Madam, you told us not to do this, like, but you know that. But then the rules are there for a purpose to safeguard things. And I think also some other policies might trump that can help. Things like there's this thing, and there's a box where we drop random comments, right? People have used, they might not use it in 2 years, but once somebody uses it, it's a whistleblowing thing. They use it as for whistleblowing. Like Oga Lagbaja did something, and you see it there. And there are times when things will happen until you fire that staff, or that staff goes, and you start to hear things. And I'll be like, why didn't anybody tell me? You'll be like, we didn't know, we didn't want to. So you can also have things in place where, even though there's a clear line of reporting, there's a whistleblowing policy, or there's a box where people can put their suggestions, still put avenues in place where feedback can come, and have an open door policy generally where anybody can come to you with anything. I think one of the biggest, one of the things that changed how we do business was from an unskilled staff. She had gone somewhere and she said, I think that we need to start training these people on XYZ because this is how we do it here, but they don't know. And when we did it, we saw how it transformed the business. So and a lot of these people they really have things upstairs, but they just didn't go to a formal school. So it doesn't mean that their opinions don't count. And understanding the difference between education and literacy is important. There are a lot of educated people that are not literate. So employ people that, because in Yoruba they say one call, the kicker is not English ABC. It is integrity, it is values, it is common sense, initiative. So as an organization also, we want to look out for people like that, but also let them understand that nothing is cast in stone per se. There are some cases where there are exceptions. Yeah.
So much. My final question, because I've enjoyed this session very much. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. My final question is for those who registered, who said, I want to start a business. I'm a young person in the university. I know that what I really want is to start a business, but I don't have an idea. I don't have anywhere to start. This is a bonus. I'm just doing this on their behalf that, oh, I read your question and I'm going to ask our guest. Where do you think that young person can start from? What's your advice for that person? Person knows that what I really want to do is to create value, start my own business. But it seems like they are starting from scratch. They don't even, in some case they have ideas, in some case they're still trying to, conceptualize what it is they want to do, especially in 21st century. What would you say to them? You are muted. You're muted.
I'm sorry. One of the easiest things that I say, and I think that anybody can enter that industry, any industry like that, enter as a middleman. One. Number two, enter as a volunteer. So that business that you want to do and you don't know where to start or how to do it, you can start as a middleman. If you know somebody that likes to be fancy, but they don't know where to get clothes, you can tell them, oh, I know this place. I can get you the clothes. Just pay me X amount. If it's 4%, 2%, 5% of the cost. Enter as a middleman. You are getting money, you are getting paid, but your investment is minimal, right? It's one of the ways. And you can learn so much about the business. You are learning the pains and you are learning the solution. So if that solution is not addressing that pain as it should properly, your own solution can now address that pain point, right? Because I had a pain point as a mom who had a child, and there were no made in Nigeria baby foods on the store shelves. There were not many products that were addressing the prevalent nutritional needs of the Nigerian. So I had questions, but there was no baby food that were answering those questions for me. Another thing you can do is enter as a volunteer. So I like this business. I don't have money to start. I don't know where to start. Join them and volunteer. This your tailoring shop. I don't mind. I want to learn, but I don't have money to. Let me just come and be sweeping. As you are sweeping, what type of fabric is this one? What type of this? You are learning types of fabric as you are gathering all the threads. I saw this button. Is this one press button? Is this one gold button? What you are learning little by little by little by little. They are just doing, if they want to buy gum stain, you are the one that goes. They want to do press button, you are the one that goes. You have volunteered yourself. And that way you serve your way to the top. That's another way. So you can be a middleman or you can serve your way to the top. Those are the two entrants to any business that I know that you don't need to put so much money and then you learn.
Thank you so much. This has been a very insightful session. Like, this is like business school grade insight. Like, thank you so much, Mrs. Sheun Shongoleye. We are so happy to have you to share your age-long insight with us. It's been an amazing time, and I'm sure that those who are joining us on YouTube and those who are going to watch later will just get so much value for this session. Thank you so much for joining. I don't know. I would like to hand over to Kenny if she has anything to say. But for my end, do you have any last words for us? Yeah. It would be good to know if you have one. Oh, okay, perfect, perfect, very good. Kenny doesn't have any last word for us. Mrs. Shungulaya, do you have any last words for us as we go?
Not at all. Thank
Oh,
you for
okay.
having me.
Huh?
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much for showing up. And apologies for all the technical inconsistency and all the issues that we experienced. Thank you so much. Have an amazing evening. Bye.